Where are Nolan Wells' organs and where is his throat? People want to know, how is it possible that Nolan Wells' body, his remains, were transferred to DC for an independent autopsy, and the medical examiner who was performing this independent autopsy was not able to come back with anything conclusive because he was missing organs? The truth is, a lot of people are really freaked out about that. However, if you listen to any professional talk about this, if you've ever really kind of gone down true crime bunny trails before, when you have a second independent autopsy done, first and foremost, these things can take some time. Toxicology report, not even in yet. So you have that initial medical examiner who's performing the original first autopsy, and they still have some of these organs. They still have body parts. They still have some of what they were initially testing, and they are probably holding it to do further evaluations for whatever reason, because apparently, for me and you here who don't do this for a living, it's normal. It's very normal. So they have their independent autopsy done. It's inconclusive. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. The only thing that's really coming up right now is the fact that in terms of injuries, like actual injuries, like what did his body look like? I know there was a lot of speculation that he was beaten black and blue, and these women came out here, two girls, and said, oh, he was transferred in an ambulance and he was absolutely beaten. He was beaten to death. All these things. What they found in the independent autopsy is a lesion behind the head, right? The problem is, because this new person, the new medical examiner who's helping the family, doesn't have all the organs, doesn't have the original report from the original medical examiner, they cannot come back with a this happened or this didn't happen. It's kind of in limbo. The toxicology report is also not done, which can take months. Like literally, it can take months. So this is the only injury that was released and reported. Let me show you something. I'm going to let you guys pause and read this part right here. Read the paragraphs as well. Okay. Second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompositional changes. Marked decomposition can obscure the presence or absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination. For these reasons, additional dissection procedures not performed during the first autopsy examination were performed to rule out potential blunt force injuries responsible for the death. These procedures include facial dissection, posterior head and neck dissection, dissection of the ribs, pelvic dissection, the subcutaneous and deep soft tissue dissection of the back, buttocks, arms, and legs. There were no fractures or deep tissue injuries identified. And then you get to the however part. However, a dissection of the back of the head during the layered posterior neck dissection revealed a 12 by 8-inch focal area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissues overlying the occipital bone. Okay, this finding is unclear. There were no lacerations of the underlying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. These findings are inconclusive for perimortem injury due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associated injuries. Continuing, the finding, however, is significant enough to be highlighted in this preliminary report for further investigation. And right here is that final picture from the medical examiner report. The area missing, people are like, where's his throat? Where's his throat? They hung this boy. They did something to this boy. This is showing the part that they didn't have. Now, I'm going to pray on the latter, and I've been praying on the latter, that even though this is terrible, I'm hoping as a mother and for his mother and his father's sake that this really was some kind of tragic accident and not foul play. And I say that because in a situation where you're already losing a child, if you guys have ever talked to victim families before, it is something so heavy and so long lasting in your life, and a weight that holds you down so deep and so ugly and so traumatic that you don't ever really recover from there being foul play and someone actually murdering your loved one. I pray on the latter. I'm sure his family is also down in there praying that none of these kids and none of those people had anything to do with their child's death. Because if that is the case, and we don't know yet, and it may be, I don't know. But if it is, that is something that it just fucking holds you forever. It holds you forever. And it's something that even if you seek justice, even if you get people responsible arrested and put in prison, you name it, it's just something that never can fucking leave you, and you really never can heal from. You really can never get over the murder of your child. So I'm going to pray on it. We will see what happens. I'm going to go out here on a limb and I'm going to say we're not going to actually have a cause of death, and we're not going to really know. That's not going to be released. I'm going to bet for at least another month, 2, 3 months, because I think they're going to really wait for the toxicology to come back in order to timeline all this. And I just think it's going to be a waiting game. And I will say it happens a lot, and it's always a waiting game. So with that being said, prayers to Nolan Wells family. Guys, please don't let this at least be bare minimum a fucking learning lesson. Yo, you go together, you leave together. If you feel like your friends would leave you on a remote island, they're not your motherfucking friends, and that's it.